The next chapter in the Matt Reeves The Batman saga has finally arrived, and all indications point to this being a somewhat compelling reimagining of the rise of one of Batman's most iconic villains. And of course I'm talking about Oswald Cobb, aka the Penguin. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to report that despite the organized hate campaigns on social media against this show, and the ridiculous fanboy bickering over certain creative decisions made by Matt Reeves, the Penguin is without a doubt something in the DC universe of content that is worth giving a shot.
Jesus Christ, it's about time!
Despite nitpicks about name changes and the supposed location of Gotham, somehow Matt Reeves and company have managed to craft something infinitely better than most of the average garbage that we get on streaming services when it comes to comic book content. You mean to tell me that all of the noise on social media is amounting to nothing at the end of the day? I'm shocked. Okay, enough sarcasm for now. But one of the biggest criticisms I hear about Matt Reeves' Batman universe is that it's too realistic, it's too grounded, and that it's not fantastical enough for some fans to enjoy. Yet I have to pose the question, if delivering grounded takes on Batman and Batman-related characters is so played out at this point, then why exactly is it that every time a new creative takes that same approach, that it typically results in quality entertainment that most people seem to enjoy?
Get what you deserve!
Now let me be very clear, because I'm sure there will be some people who will be upset about that. Listen, I know that there are people who watch me who legitimately didn't vibe with the Batman, or who wouldn't be interested in the grounded crime story aspect of this show, and that I understand. What I'm talking about are the people who go out of their way to tell me that Matt Reeves is a hack. Now, whether they truly believe that, or they just have a massive hate boner for WB to the point that they can't take things on a case-by-case basis, whatever the reason, I find it very difficult to take someone who says that too seriously. The truth is that Matt Reeves has nothing to do with whatever it is you or I am mad at WB for. If anything, he is one of the only people working under the WB and DC banner outside of Todd Phillips that is at the very least trying to deliver something that is somewhat unique. And I do think that the first episode of this Penguin series is another example of that. Now, was the first episode perfect? No, but I'll get into my gripes as the video goes on. But just the idea that we are even getting a series like this is impressive to me. And yes, I know this series, like The Batman, takes inspiration from other films and shows. But you know what? I know this is difficult for some people to comprehend, but that is part of filmmaking. I know that certain liberties were taken with the characters and the world that Matt Reeves created. But you know what? I think that's okay as long as they aren't doing something that's so egregious that it actually disrespects the source material. The truth is that this is a very different Penguin than we've ever seen before. And that is precisely why it's going to be one of the most memorable.
That makes sense.
In addition to Colin Farrell's transformative performance, this series clearly also intends to dig deep into the character's psyche, which is something that I think many longtime Batman fans like myself never thought we would see in live action. A character study series based on the Penguin. Where do I sign up? I welcome any new interpretation of a character that makes an effort to build on the legacy of said character. The Penguin series picks up pretty much right when the Batman left off, with a massive void that needs to be filled in the Falcone crime family. Oz clearly wants that spot, but he's going to have to compete with Carmine's children if he wants to get it. So it's clearly not going to be an easy path to the throne for the Penguin.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
If you are a fan of the Long Halloween story like I am, I think you will be pleased to see certain characters like Alberto and Sophia make an appearance in this series. And Sophia in particular, I think, has the potential to steal the show. And to me, they perfectly captured the bat insane aspect to her character that we know and love from the source material. As far as Oz himself goes, the first episode basically serves as setup, a reintroduction. We are getting an inside look into who he is as a person and why he values that power so much. And to me, this is where limited series spin-offs of movies can thrive. Because you only have so much time in a movie, but a series allows you to spend more time with these interesting characters. And it gives you an opportunity to see what his day-to-day life is like. You get to see how his ambition is driven by his relationship with his mother.
But you one crazy ass
Oz is also a bit self-conscious about his handicap, and this makes him very dangerous, especially to anyone who dares not take him seriously. In this show, Oz is manipulative, he's smart, and he's ambitious. That is a deadly combination. We also get to see a softer side to him, which is, I think, where The Sopranos comparisons come in. Listen, I'm not ready to go there because The Sopranos, in my opinion, is one of the greatest shows ever created. And it was a masterful character study in the process. So it is a great place to take inspiration from. And let's be real, that's not bad company. If you're going to be compared to anything, it might as well be one of the greatest series ever. There's just little moments throughout this episode, like when Oz makes a big deal about the air freshener in his car. It's just a little character detail that goes a long way to making him feel more like a real person than simply a caricature.
I like it a lot.
The one aspect to this show that did feel a bit off to me was this whole subplot with this street kid that Oz initially threatens, but then takes under his wing. I understand why they did it, but having him have a soft spot for this person he just met, because that person also has a handicap, was a bit on the nose for me. And I'm not entirely sure that that relationship dynamic is going to be strong enough to carry through the whole series. Plus, I was slightly disappointed that parts of Gotham being underwater after the events of the Batman isn't more directly addressed. I think it would have made for a cool visual to have parts of this show take place in these flooded areas. Now, it's only the first episode, so it is possible that that could still happen. Also, I love Clancy Brown, don't get me wrong, but I did think he was an odd choice to play Salvatore Maroni. I mean, a good chunk of this show will most likely be dedicated to the Falcone-Maroni War, with Oz kind of in the middle and playing both sides, which I think is a great concept. But I don't know, couldn't we have found anyone who fits that part a little bit better for Maroni? It was just kind of a very odd casting choice for me, and it felt like he's only there because he has ties to other comic book properties in the past. Outside of all of that, I did feel like The Penguin Episode 1 was a solid first entry in this new saga. I think it quite effectively reintroduces us to this world that Matt Reeves created, both visually and from a story perspective. Fleshing out a character like the Penguin might seem like overkill to some, and even unnecessary. But I think there's enough going on here from a character and story perspective to justify this series' existence.
Y'all be cool. Nah.